recently I just went on a trip to New York City with my dad, Random Rob on YouTube. Go ahead and check him out if you like wristwatches. So we went out to a watch event in New York City, and I got to do a lot of walking around the whole city and taking pictures. Of course, I had the camera with me, so I got a lot of pictures of watches at the event, and then everything else in New York City, a lot of the main staples of the city. So unfortunately I got sick, so I kind of had to tough it out the last day I was there. But anyway, the main couple days I was there, I was able to get a good amount of photos, and we can go ahead and take a look at them and see what I did to them to spice them up with the edit, and hopefully you guys like these pictures. So I just want to scroll through them with you and show you what New York City looks like, especially through the eyes of the camera. So let's go ahead and take a look. So right now I have a bunch of these selected, and it's a little bit laggy, but basically this whole sequence here on the bottom, you can see I ended up making a reel on Instagram. So I'm gonna make a video about this a little bit later, but basically I turned all these photos into a video and did basically a hyperlapse, so we can dig into that later. But for now, I want to show you guys, here's some pictures of the subway that I got. I was using a pretty fast shutter speed here to get these shots. The fast shutter speed's nice for clarity on like this image, for example. You get a really crispy shot of the train, but once the train goes by, for the sake of making the video, it kind of sucks because there's like too much detail in each of the individual frames. So I ended up adding motion blur in the video to make it look like the train was actually moving fast across the screen. But anyway, we'll get into that later. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of like, here was the photo before. It was pretty dark in there and the white balance was definitely off. I gave it some blue and green tones and I brightened the whole image up. We can take a look at kind of what I did here. You can see it's just like contrast, highlights, shadows, everything I pulled up basically. And then I also slammed the temperature to be pretty cool. Messed with some of the color grading to get this like surgical, kind of like grungy feeling in the train depot or the subway or whatever it's called. I don't go to the city, man. I know how this works. You can see the New World Trade Center building sticking up through the trees. These trees are actually right by the memorial site next to the building, which is pretty cool to have sort of a natural element to the framing. And this is what it looked like before. To me, it's just too like GoPro looking, you know, like just basic colors. So I just wanted to add in some yellowy tint to the leaves, and then just in general I added some contrast and played with the highlights to make the whites in the building pop a little bit. Pretty simple edit. This one's kind of cool too because you get the what's it called? I don't remember the name of the building now, but essentially there's a bunch of stores and everything in this building, and it's a really cool architecture right by the foot of the World Trade Center. I have some photos. I did go inside of here, so we can take a look at those as well. So this is the inside of that building I was just talking about, kind of looking back up through it. So this one I did a good amount of work on as well. You can see it's really dark and there's not, you know, the whole point of the image here is to focus on the geometry. So basically I just picked up the highlights and the whites, so that way it looked like, you know, light was just beaming into this place. Here's another photo I edited. I did this one just on my phone quick, but again, it shows the geometry of that building, but it's more of a, you know, a staring straight up look. I thought this was a pretty cool photo. I think this one was using the wide angle lens on my iPhone to capture, so that's kind of cool. Another couple of these photos of the spine or whatever you want to call it. I just thought it had really cool geometry. I'm sure there's a million of these photos on the internet already or on Instagram and everything, but I just wanted to get some for myself because I thought the depth and the geometry of it is just so beautiful. There's something about this that reminds me of that building in Sydney. I think I need to be, is it Sydney, Australia that is? I need to be a little more cultured because I don't know what any of this stuff's called. I only know it from Nemo. Yeah, so here's another look at that. And there's something about like a 45, not even, what do you call it? Like a 60-degree angle shot, kind of like up towards like older architecture buildings. There's something about the way the geometry works on it. It looks something like, if you've ever seen the movie 10 or maybe like Doctor Strange or something like that, how it's like kind of trippy how they show off all the geometry. I just think it looks really cool, and it's a really simple edit on these. I just liked the color of like the stone brick, so I gave it a little bit of like orangey tint to it. And then I'm just using an overpass to kind of frame this building. I thought it was a good look there too. And this building just kind of seemed like futuristic, like rundown city type of a look. I don't know, like there's something about the shape of it that like, it seems like something that would be in a movie where it would be in the background of like a zombie apocalypse or something cool like that. So I don't know, I thought it was cool. Again, kind of just going with the warm tones embracing the highlights. I kind of like that it's basically a little, it's somewhat overexposed right there, but not really. So I kind of like that look though. It just looks like a really bright, nice day, just kind of, you know, shining off the building. There's a little bit more of the glass in the front. And there's something about, like, this came out so clean to me. Like, I know it's just a crosswalk that, like, there's nothing special here, but I think it's something about, like, the color grade and then just, like, how crispy clean the photo is coming out of this camera. I really like this one, just for no reason. I don't know. Same with this, just, like, all I do is focus in on this light and this sign, but it's, like, just looks so good to me. This one I thought was really cool because it's a really interesting play on like parallel angles. So you can see like there's sort of this on the sidewalk patio, there's a cover protecting you from, you know, eating on the ground there, eating from the ground. I don't, what is English anyway? And then it kind of lines up pretty close to the building up here. And then we also have like a line of buildings and then it fades away into the sun. There's something really pretty about this shot. And again, I went with the warm tones. I just thought it really suited the scene here. And now we have some night shots of the Empire State Building. So obviously it's a night shot. I have some bright lights. All I did was just slam those things up. I wanted them to be as bright as possible. There's a guy delivering. Here's the non-edited versus the edited. So yeah, now if you're into watches, I got a few of those for you. So this was the watch I was actually wearing at the time. It was a G-Shock that my dad built for me. Well, sort of for me, just to wear for the event. This was in a Lite box at the event, so I stuck it in there, took some photos of it. Here's some watches. I don't know anything about these watches, I'll be completely honest, but there was a lot of cool ones there. So I just ran around snapping pictures. I had to adjust the white balance a little bit here. You can see it's kind of warm, and I wanted to add some texture and clarity just a little bit. I don't even know if I did on this one. No, I didn't even on this one. But mostly I just brought up the colors a little bit and added some contrast. And I wanted the silver to like really look silver, you know, like definitely just had, this is a pretty accurate color tone. I think that's just what it needed to be. You can see my white balance was a little bit off on my camera. So basically all I did was correct it. It's my dad holding a couple watches. Those are cool, blue and orange. I like the shots I got of these Vortex watches. Let's see if I can zoom out. This red watch is probably some of the best photos I got there. I like the composition as a photographer of this one, just because you have another subject to the side, but then you have nothing in the background other than just white. And there's not a lot in the background to distract you from what the subject is that you're looking at. I think that's a really cool contrast, especially having the dark face to the watch, but then the dark ring around the face of the watch, and then the face itself is basically the same color as the background. You just have basically a circle of contrast. Here's some of my favorite ones, just some good pictures of straps laying down. But anyway, I just wanted to go through the photos and kind of just show you in general what my edit looks like. And I haven't done much like nighttime photography in the city and that type of stuff, so this was basically just a glimpse into, you know, loosely how I edited the photos. If you guys wanted me to go like in depth in my workflow for editing photos, I can do that, but I figured it'd be a little more fun maybe just to scroll through some of them and point out the ones I like. And yeah, so hopefully you saw some cool photos that you like, and I look forward to keep making videos about photos and videos and drones and all the good stuff. So hopefully you stick around and watch some more videos in the future, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.